Thomas Fan B92 here, and this is an inside look of my copy of the Thomas and the Magic Railroad script. We're just going to take a look at some of the original scenes, or what they were going to be before the movie was cut. Here is the appearance of Diesel 10. Here's a particular scene that was possibly in the I'm not sure if it was in the actual film, the actual director's cut, but here Lily is actually introduced in her own apartment, and her mother is like packing up her stuff since she's like ready to go see her grandpa. And here's a line where she's looking at a photo of her grandmother and grandpa, and then she asks about who the boy was in the background who's staring at him. Here is the introduction of P.T. Boomer. That's what they say. He's described as a drifter through choice. The next page, Billy warns Patch to be on the lookout for a stranger. And here, Boomer confronts Billy at the platform. And Boomer's supposed to smash the flowers that Mr. Seaver was watering. Here's where Stacy and Billy discuss Burnett Stone while they're looking at an old drawing that he did, and then Billy gives Stacy the flowers because they were knocked off. Here's a scene where Diesel 10 meets James and Thomas at TATMR Sheds, and this is what he really said. Instead of explaining that he's looking for a lost steam engine, just in the original script, he is a new engine. This page, this is where Thomas is puffing along the countryside, thinking about all his friends. And here we got Splatter and Dodge's original introduction. They were eavesdropping on Percy and Toby at the scrapyard. At the quarry meeting scene, Diesel 10 originally called Splatter and Dodge Splodge instead of Splodge. And then, Diesel didn't have, as I said before, Diesel 10 didn't have the plan to destroy the lost engine yet. And then this is where his claw is revealed. And then it slams down on his head. Here's the scene where Burnett Stone is in his workshop with the painting of Lady. And he flashes back when, as a child, he was chosen as Lady's guardian. And this is where he confronts Boomer outside his house, or outside the workshop. This is where he runs out of gold dust on his way to the windmill, and he ends up at a waterfall. Here's George the Steamroller's introduction. Here's how George the Steamroller becomes Diesel 10's third henchman. Here's his daydream sequence where the turntable is converted into his own roller rink. And here's Diesel 10's original reason to destroy the buffers, so all the steam engines would crash. Here's where George meets Diesel 10, Splitter, and Dodge at the scrapyard after Diesel 10 eavesdrops on Percy and Thomas. Here's the original idea of how Mr. Conductor would escape Diesel 10 at the viaduct. Here, this is another flashback sequence where Bernard Stone promises Tasha that he'll take her for a ride on Lady. And here's where Patch and Burnett Stone talk about Lady and P.T. Boomer. It's in the workshop. Then they discuss the Magic Railroad. And look what I found by surprise. It's actually the extended scene where Junior is still riding on Diesel 10's back at night. Oh yeah, it says that Diesel 10 does try to grab Junior with his claw. He's like dodging it as he plays the air guitar. That's really cool. And then he's supposed to go. Let's change the page here. Oh, it says that they approach a tunnel. But in the storyboard that I found in Sodor Island forums, say that they were supposed to go under a series of bridges. Here's where Thomas takes Lily through the Magic Railroad. They spot the coal truck, but don't stop for it. And they apparently stop at a crossroad. Lily checks it out, finds out which direction to go, and then as she does, Thomas comes in contact with a lady telepathically. Like he can feel her emotion. And in the storyboard on the Sodor Island forums, it is described that the Magic Railroad was located in a cavernous tunnel. And that's what it says in here too. Caverns. Here, go to the buffers. Thomas actually realizes the significance of the coal. And here's where Boomer sets off the explosion and Thomas falls down the mountain. Here's an extended part of the scene after Thomas and Boomer fall through the ground. They're inside the Magic Railroad. Here's the scene where Patch and his horse get the coal truck from inside the Magic Railroad. And here's where they're like, the line where it's like, "No, you won't, Boomer, because the Magic, you refuse to believe and get the better view." This line was actually takes place in the Magic Railroad, since in this script, Boomer is transported back in Thomas's cab, and he's on Thomas's cab instead of floating around the Magic Railroad in the actual movie. Here's where George redeems himself, and Spider-Dogs bump into each other, pretty much like Bill and Ben on Teething Troubles. Here's the chase sequence. And here's where Junior uses his bandana to turn Diesel 10 and Boomer into sludge. Here we flash forward to 20 years later with Lily and Patch having kids of their own and going through scrapbooks, talking about the story and how they came to Soda and all that. Since the present time was 2000, 20 years back, the events in the movie take place in 1980, before the TV show was aired. And then here's the last page, which ends with Thomas puffing away.